How would you like it if you were taken away from your friends and family, constantly feeling uncomfortable in your own space, and not able to really roam free, constantly feel like if you're on a leash? Well, orcas have to deal with this 24/7 of their lives. In my speech, I'm going to be talking about why we should ban the ability to take orcas from their natural habitat for people entertainment. According to the website source, orcas are stolen from the habitat and forced for entertainment for humans almost constantly. They aren't meant for entertainment and held captive. And when they are, we see significant declines in their health. Protest petitions and organizations have been going around for years to stop it, but still it continues. As young adults in college, we have the power for others to hear our voice and change their opinions, to inform other individuals of the inhumanity behind taking orcas from their habitat and how it affects them. After doing research on orcas, I am able to teach you why it's so important to save these majestic animals from captivity. In my speech, I'm going to explain why orcas are not meant to be held captive, and how they're not supposed to be held for entertainment, and how it's not only dangerous for them, but also dangerous for the trainers in the tank with them as well. First, I'm going to explain the problem as why it's a threat for trainers to be in the same setting as orcas. I'm going to second be explaining the cause of why it is horrible for their mental health and physical health. And lastly, I will explain how you can help and how we can solve it. First, I'll explain how it's a threat for trainers to be in captivity with the orcas. So, from a web source, SeaWorld on a Hunt, they said stress is involved by being deprived of everything that is natural and important to orcas in captivity. This leads to orcas have attacked and killed 3 humans since 1991, and many others have been injured. And usually when orcas have either attacked or killed people, they are labeled as dangerous or wild, usually isolating them away from all the others. This has them labeled aggressive or dangerous, so they're not able to swim, or they're basically in one spot constantly, not able to really roam free. And since they are carnivores, they have the right to be aggressive. They eat meat, they eat live things, so them being aggressive, it's just their nature. Second, I will be talking about the cause. So now that I told you why it's a threat for trainers, I'm gonna just tell you a little bit of why it's bad for their health. From a website source, SeaWorld of a Hunt, males have collapsed dorsal fins because they have no space to swim freely and are fed an unnatural diet. In the ocean, this rarely happens to them, and when it usually does, this indicates them as very unhealthy. Orcas are very social, and when they don't get along with certain whales in their pod, the way they can get away from them is fleeing away. But since they're in such a small tank, they're not really able to flee, so they're labeled again as aggressive because they can start fighting each other. Family to orcas is actually very important. They feel way comfortable with their own set of family in the tanks. So again, if you put them in with different other species of a pod in the tanks, again, aggressive, which is not only good for them, but it's also bad for you because again, they're aggressive, could again lead to dangerous for the trainers. From a website source, SeaWorld Hunt, they aren't able to free them back in the ocean either because they don't have the hunting skills to survive on their own. They're usually fed dead animals, and it's right then and there, they're just fed to it, so they don't really have the skills to go back and hunt on their own. Orcas must migrate thousands of miles every year because it's in their nature to do that. But being stuck in a bath-sized tub space their whole lives, this could cause major mental and physical issues for them. SeaWorld tank is almost equivalent to a normal-sized bathtub to us, not able to move constantly and being squished 24/7. Now that I told you some mental health on orcas when they're held captive, finally I'm going to tell you a solution or how you can help it. A solution would just be, stop stealing orcas from from their natural habitat for entertainment. The only people you're making happy is, the people. Like, orcas are perfectly fine in the wild, you guys can go in the ocean, go whale watching, or, whatever, and you can still see them without having to take them away from their own environment. From a website source, they suggest stop going to places like SeaWorld or any other zoo places, and stop giving, money to the parks. And also, from a website source, they also said they should stop entertainment for forcibly breeding orcas and making so much more, which is causing more problems, because once they make more orcas or, whatever, more animals, they're selling them to all these different parks, and it's like you're back in the same situation. It's not getting anywhere. Ways that you can help is also, you don't support any organizations that held animals or orcas captive. Maybe attend some local protests you see in your area, and also maybe just share some information to others to allow others to know all this knowledge that I'm teaching you today. Now that I told you why we should ban orcas for people entertainment, let's conclude. First, I told you why it's a threat for trainers when orcas are in captivity. Second, I told you how it affects their mental health. And finally, I told you a solution or how you can help. I have explained with the website sources why orcas aren't meant to be held captive for entertainment, and how it's not only dangerous for them, but it's also very dangerous for the humans being inside the tank with them, like the trainers. I hope my speech has informed most of you of the unfair and inhumane world of the animal entertainment, to try to put an end to these big industries from being able to capture animals as a form of entertainment and profit. It's not okay for these animals. I'm sure you wouldn't like it if you were taken from your own home again, your own family, and not be able to see your friends. If you wouldn't like it, what would make you think animals are okay with it too?